Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to make this 3D mirrored text you see on the screen, and we're going to make a template at the end. We'll do a macro so you can reuse it over and over. I had just done one of these with 2D text, and I put a free preset in the description, and I also added this one already in that, but I figured I'd do a tutorial on it anyhow, and both of them free presets will be in this description as well. So I have a little bit of a cold going on, so my voice is kind of weird today. We'll start out and add a page. Right click in the media pool. New Fusion Composition. You can go ahead and leave it at 5 seconds. You can name it if you'd like, but you don't have to. Bring it down to your timeline and go to Fusion. I do use a handicap controller. It's a sip and puff, so you may hear a little bit of that noise during this tutorial. Bring a background node down, pipe it into the media out. Take the alpha all the way down. Click away right about here. On a 3D text. A merge. A merge. And one more merge. Camera. And render. Take the merge 4 and put it in viewer 1. Select the text node, put the text you're liking in. I suggest if you're going to make the macro to leave the font on Open Sans, because if you pick a font that is not in every computer, it won't recognize it when you try to use it. But you'll have all the options of whatever font you have when you use it. So select the camera node. Put the render node in viewer 2 first. Then make sure you got camera node selected. In the inspector under transform, translation, Z-axis will move the camera back. And you'll see the text in viewer 2. Go ahead and size it however you'd like. You'll be able to size it and everything like you normally would in the macro. Go to controls. Actually, select the text node if you lost it like I did. I'm going to open the tracking just a little bit. And if your text is not in the center, go to the V anchor and select it. That should move it down. Go to the excursion down here at the bottom. We're going to take the excursion depth up to 0.1, right in the middle. Now we will not be able to adjust that later, so we're not going to add that in the macro. Reason being is when you adjust the excursion, the front of one text will move and the back of the other one, so they won't stay lined up. I'll try to demonstrate that if I don't forget. Take the excursion subdivisions all the way to the right. Smoothing angle all the way to the right. You can set your bevel depth and width however you like. I like 0.0063. And if you go up here above viewer 1, you'll see a little switch. It says lighting. If you select that, you can see the 3D a lot better. And after I set mine, let's do a custom set too. Highlight each one of these bottom ones one at a time. Drag the little lever all the way to the side. Highlight both the top ones. And hit F as in flatten. Drag the little handles all the way out. Be sure to go back to classic because we don't want that open in the macro all the time. Okay, I think we have our text how we need it. Right click on the text. Go to copy. Click away right here. Right click and paste instance. Now for those of you that don't know what an instance is, it's an exact copy of whatever node you took it off of. So with the instance selected, if you look up here in the inspector, everything highlighted in green will affect both nodes if you change those values. There are some things we're going to de-instance so we can operate them individually. Merge that instance into the merge 3D2. And select that instance node. Go to shading. Opacity. Right click on it. Go down to de-instance. Now that will only affect the mirrored part, which we're getting to in a moment. Now go to transform. Y-axis. Right click. And de-instance. Same thing with the Z axis. Right click and de-instance. And under rotation, the X axis. Then we'll take the X and we're going to rotate that to 180. Now actually before I do that, let's bring the Y value down so you can see both copies of the text. Now we'll take this to 180 and you'll see what it does. Now if you look in viewer 1, you'll see they're offset. If you don't already know, if you hold down the control button and you adjust your values by the numeral, it'll do it by 1 numeral increments instead of 10 at a time. A lot easier to control. Now we want to go in the inspector, under translation, ZXS, and we want to line these two up. And under the Y, we want to raise it up a little bit. Close this gap up here a little bit. But to make it look real, you're going to want to have a little bit of a line there. Now I want to show you here. We'll go back to the text. With the excursion, if we move that, look in viewer 1, you'll see what happens. One goes one way, one goes the other way. So whatever depth you would like, you want to set that before we line it up. You can do that now still and reline it. I find 0.1 to look about correct. Let's merge our render into the background. Take the media out and put it in viewer 2. Select the render node. Under render type, change it from software to hardware. That will let the computer decide between the CPU and GPU for best performance. And enable lighting and shadows. Now you'll see we have no light at all. Viewer 2. So select this merge here. Shift spacebar and type in directional light. Now you see we have a light, but it's right on top of the text. So with the light node selected, and the inspector and the transform, translation, Z-axis, so we'll move the light back. Before we do that, select the use target. That way it will always be pointing directly at the text. I'm just going to take it up, straight out and up a little bit. You'll have the option later to adjust it in the macro. Let's go to the instance node. Under shading, remember we de-instanced this opacity. This is why if you look at the mirror, the lower text, you can adjust it to look more realistic. I think for now I'm going to leave mine at 0.7. You'll be able to readjust that later again. Looks like I added one too many merges in there. I'll select this merge, shift spacebar, and transform 3D. And this is the one we're going to use to animate everything. So if you want to readjust it, move it around, up or down, this is the one we're going to use. Make sure it's set back to default settings. Let's rename this Group Controls. We want to get rid of this merge. We want to go to viewer 1. We don't need 2 now. I want to close this gap up a little bit more. Let's go into transform, Y-axis, and we'll move it up. Something like that. Okay, I think we're ready to make our macro. So click away, make sure nothing's selected. Hold down the control key. Select these in order like I am. And then hit A for all. With the control button down still. Deselect the media out. Right click on any one of the other nodes. Go up to macro. Create macro. Give it a name. I'm calling mine 3D mirror tutorial because I already have it in my folder. Just try to follow along here. Those three are for the right-on effect. We don't want to add the excursion depth because it does not work correctly. That's all we need there. Now it's shading. Let's select that node. And if we look over the inspector, you'll see we have everything we need right here. We'll temporarily uncheck the use one material. We want the info for the beveled material. This might take me a minute to get all this. It's a lot to look through. I have a hard time seeing with the highlighter on there. We want to select these, that way we can put a shader on this text if you want. Then go ahead and close that back up. So select the use one material. And select the X and Y at the bottom. That way we can extend the text vertically or horizontally, stretching it. Now go to the instance node. Under shading, the only thing we want is opacity. And in front of opacity, type in reflection. Now group controls. X, Y, and Z. We really don't need the Z because we're going to use the scale. They both do the same. But in front of the X, write group controls. Directional light. Let's go back to the group controls. I think I might have missed one. So we'll select that group control node. We can look over in the inspector. We can check everything out. We have to add this rotation Y value in here. That is to rotate the text. So if we put it at an angle or something. Okay, now go to directional light. We only need the X and the Y to adjust it vertically and horizontally. We don't need the Z. So in front of the X, put in light. And select use target. Under controls, enable and intensity, and put light in front of both of them. I don't think we have to do them, but we'll do them anyways to make sure we have a good input and output. Have to have one of each. Nothing worse than going through all this and have a blank screen when you're done. Isn't going to hurt to select them. Okay, that should be it. Now we'll go to the top of the file. Save as group. Make a folder if you don't have one. Rather than just throw it on your desktop and make a mess out of everything or have a hard time finding it. This way you know where it's at. Okay, now I'll show you how to find the folder. Up here to the left under Effects. You go down to Templates. Edit. And Titles. You can drop it right in Fusion's titles or make a folder like I did. Right click. I'm just going to copy and paste it into the other folder. Okay, now we'll go up to the edit page. And let's find it. It's right here. We'll go over the controls pretty quick and make sure everything's here. Then we're going to, in a moment, we're going to take and use the magic mask. This part is in the studio version only. And I'll show you how to put it in front of a person, and or I should say in back, but she is facing away from us on a dock. And we're going to put the text on the other side of her and the dock. You don't have to do this. This will work just on if you want to lay it on a clean lake or anything like that. Reflection opacities here. Now let's add a shader to it. Select the image. Go down to brush. Now, a lot of these shaders I put in this folder, but Resolve comes with some of them. Now you can see we got brush brass up there. Perforated metal. You can also select clip and browse. It'll take you to your whatever textures if you've been there, or you might have to navigate to it. We just put a cherry wood on it. Go back to tools. You have your colors. Go back to solid here. This part here can only be done in the studio version. I'm going to show you how to put this on the other side of her and the dock. You may already know how. Resolve now only likes to go up one track at a time, which is good. You don't jump up 5 anymore. Hold Alt down. Disable the bottom track. Go to color page. Everybody probably knows by now what all these controls do if you have it, but you want to make sure the magic mask is selected. You have a plus picker and a minus picker. Plus is for where you want to mask. Minus is if you have something you don't want. You have faster and better if you have a good enough computer. I suggest better. Then over here you have a invert mask and a mask overlay. Here you got to track forward, track backward, and track forward and backward. I usually use that one because I tend to not pay attention to where my playhead is at on a timeline, and it'll do the same thing anyways. It'll just track it one way if it's only one way. And we'll track it. Okay, we got a green check arrow, indicates it's a good track. Go up here, right click, add alpha output, connect them two, and I can invert it to see what's masked, what's not. Let's disable track 2 so you can see it better. And that'll show what is masked. Everything in red is masked. back up to that page. Turn track 1 back on. And track 2, you'll see the text is in front of her and the dock. Want to rotate it? Again, you have your opacity setting to make it look more realistic. Go to the image. Down here to brush. We can add some different textures to it. I suggest when you add a texture to it to get rid of the color. That's brushed the aluminum right there. Okay, well there you go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.